epithelial attachment. Then you are supposed to give incision here and incision here. When you are doing tongue tie, you should be very careful. If you do it by laser, it will be good. If you do it scalpel, what will happen? If you go into deeper areas while cutting the fibers, you may end up with damaging the minor arteries there. Okay? So what will happen? Bleeding will be too much. And suturing also will be tricky here. Okay? What is this? Why they have put that? Why they have put suturing there? To retract the tongue. Then only you can make out the fibers. You are supposed to retract very tightly, then only you can feel the fibers there. Okay? Tongue. How will you hold it? With hand? Hold it with hand. Try करके देखिए. So when you plan for like frenectomy or freenectomy during orthodontic treatment, when you do before starting the treatment you do, or like after starting the treatment you do, or like after finishing the treatment. In initial stages, everyone needs to do before OT. But what will happen in that area? Fiber like scar tissue will form, and that was like very difficult for the orthodontist to move the tooth. Okay, if you do in the initial stages. That's why what they now the concept has changed. So before debonding, few months before debonding, we do the frenectomy. They do all the movements of the tooth, everything. Before finishing, we do the frenectomy. Okay? Not before and not after. Just few months before debonding. By that, what will happen? 70%, like 77% of reduction in the opening of the diastema will be less. That's what will happen. Chances will be there. It may reopen. Now, who will explain me about biological width? मोनिका मैम ने अच्छा पढ़ाया है. What is biological width? Sorry? Connective tissue. Yes, connective tissue plus junction epithelium. Correct. So what are the different like procedure, like how we do crown landing procedure? Okay. What are the different technique how you gain the crown landing? One is ectomy, gingivectomy. One is orthodontic extrusion. And one more is when doing ostectomy or osteotomy, compound crown lengthening we call it. Okay. Different methods to increase the crown length. One is surgically, gingivectomy, flap surgery with osteotomy or ostectomy, orthodontic extrusion. So here, like why the biological width is very important. How much is the biological width? 2.04. That is nothing but the connective tissue and the junction epithelium together considered as. What is transgingival probing? Transgingival probing. मोनिका मैम इधर ही है. हाँ 3 बटा वो भी बोला उसने. हाँ तब कैसा करोगे ट्रांसजेंडर प्रोबिंग? प्रोब लेके टिक करना है बस. Till you hit the bone. Right? And you are supposed to measure that. How much the thickness of the gingiva. Correct? For thick biotype and thin biotype. So what is the sulcus depth? Usually it should be 0 to 3 mm, right? This sulcus depth. Sulcus depth is 0 to 3 mm. This, how much is it? 2.0. This tension epithelium plus connectivity. want to gain a crown length. So if you feel this is 3 mm, then if you cut 1 mm also, 1 mm of gingivectomy you have done, also no problem. Correct? If you want 2 mm or 3 mm of crown length. Understand? If you want 3 mm crown length has to be, then if you cut this full 3 mm, what will happen? No sulcus step. Correct? And you give crown from here. Crown margin will be here. Correct? So this, whatever the forces will fall on this crown, this will be transmitted to this biological fluid. This won't be able to bear the forces. Understand? That time what will happen? So some patients will come with the blanching of the soft tissue after you place a crown. Whitening, if you doesn't diagnose that time what will happen? Over a period of time it starts bleeding. If it doesn't, then it will go into the periodontal pocket. Why? Because the forces are not able to bear by this junction epithelium. Starting it becomes weak, then what will happen? Deepening of the sulcus will take place. Because it won't be able to bear the forces. That is the reason when you are planning crown, if you are giving the crown, what are the different types of margins? You give crown. Okay. Where you give? Okay. So equigingival where? Anterior. Correct? Supragingival will be given in posterior. Then? That's what I was saying. Supragingival how to give. Most of the time you are supposed to give actually equi or supra. But the thing is that for aesthetic purpose we give equi or subgingival. Correct? So when you are giving equigingivally, just imagine your crown is here. So your crown margin is at gingiva. At gingiva your crown margin, that means here alveolar bone will be there, correct? From this alveolar bone, this distance should be minimum of 4 mm. From the margin of the crown to the alveolar bone. You are supposed to maintain this. If you are giving subgingivally, this is the gingival margin, you are given crown margin here. That time it should be minimum of 3 mm. Then only the junctional epithelium will be able to bear the forces. Okay. If you violate this, that means that you are violating the biological weight. In future it will cause us periodontal issues. So what will you do? Now, okay, so you want to do gingivectomy for this, you want 3 mm of crown lengthening, correct? And this surface depth is just 3 mm and this biological weight is 2.04 mm. Just consider as 2. 3 plus 2, 5, correct? So in this, the prosthodontist what? 3 mm has to be only left out is 2 mm. So is it like feasible? You can do that? No, right? That time what will you do? So if you are cutting 1 mm of gingiva here, you are supposed to compensate that with by reducing the alveolar bone level. You are supposed to trim the alveolar bone 1 mm. Okay? So you are supposed to compensate that soft tissue how much you are cutting, the same thing from the alveolar bone. That how you do? You are supposed to do the gingivectomy first. If you want 2 mm, cut the gingiva after 2 mm, then open a flap. Okay? Reduce the bone height of 2 mm. For that you are supposed to do transgingival probing. By that, how will you come to know that here bone will be there, here soft tissue will be there. You are supposed to By after giving LA, you are supposed to do transgingival probing and you measure this. From the alveolar crest till the gingival margin, how much is the measurement of the gingiva. Then according to that, you are supposed to follow that. Okay, whether you are giving subgingival margin or epigingival margin, according to that your margin where it should come. How much crown length you need. According to that you can plan. If you feel 1 mm is enough, then you cut 1 mm of gingiva and you cut 1 mm of bone here. That will be compensated. That means you are not violated a biological limit. But when you are planning for this, you are supposed to see how the bone support. Already bone support is not good. Again you are trimming the bone, then prognosis is going to be poor, right? So you are supposed to check for the bony support for the same tooth and for the adjacent tooth. According to this concept, at least 3 mm of sound tooth structure should be present above that. Okay, for the crown. What is the ratio? Crown root ratio? Sorry, 2:3. Up to 1:1 you can follow. If it is ulta, then you can't do it. 2:1, up to 1:1 you can somehow give a crown. So if the, see when you are doing this, what are the different kinds of gingival biotype? Thick thing. That also Monica has taught you guys. How will you do like for depigmentation then? If you doesn't know biotypes of gingiva. Any procedure, for any perio procedure, you are supposed to know about the biotypes, whether it is a thick biotype or thin biotype. By doing gingivoplasty also, if it is very thin, if you scrape more or slice the more, then what will happen? You will end up with the scarring. Okay? If the thick gingiva is thick with adequate attached gingiva, then you can go ahead with gingivectomy. Otherwise, apically repositioned flap with osseous resection can be done. If you are giving restoration subgingivally, then at least you are supposed to maintain 3 mm. If you are giving epigingivally, minimum it should be 4 mm. To diagnose biological weak violation, when restorative margin is placed 2 mm or less away from the alveolar bone, the gingival tissues becomes inflamed with no other etiological factor. Even patient is maintaining oral hygiene properly, no other traumatic issue is there, still patient complains of inflamed gingiva. Okay. What are the objectives for crown lengthening procedure? Removal of subgingival caries, enabling the restorative treatment without impinging on biological weight, and also correction for occlusal flame, and facilitate of the improved oral hygiene, and also for the cosmetic improvement. What are the diagnostic consideration you should include? Subgingival caries and the degree of extension of clinical crown fracture apically. If root caries is too much, you can't keep on cutting the tissue and the bone, right? So some certain point you are supposed to stop it. You can't give crown also if root caries is too much. In such cases, subgingival caries you are supposed to check how much it is, then only you can plan for crown lengthening procedure. Whether the clinical crown root ratio after restorative treatment may be favorable or non-favorable. That also you are supposed to keep in mind. Okay, and root length, root morphology, residual amount of supporting bone after the crown lengthening procedure. And the degree of periodontal support lasts from the adjacent tooth, and the possibility of the furcation involvement. That is also very important. Already furcation involvement is there, endoperial lesion is there. In that again you are planning for crown lengthening with osseous reduction. What will happen? You are compromising the bone support there. So better not to go ahead in such condition. Increased tooth mobility due to diminished supporting tissue and its influence on occlusion, and also whether proper plaque control can be maintained after the placement of the crown. That also has to be kept in mind. Can you see here what they have done? 3 things they have done here. Yes. One is gingivoplasty, correct? Yes, one more is there. By doing gingivoplasty, you can achieve depigmentation. Okay? Here they are done gingivectomy, gingivoplasty. When they are doing gingivoplasty, can you see here enlargement? But actually, this is bony enlargement. Not much difference here. Correct? That's why if you do by seeing that, like without doing transgingival probing, without seeing the gingival biotype, if you keep doing the gingivoplasty, you will end up in exposing the bone. Okay. Along with that, they have done crown lengthening procedure also. This is simple crown lengthening procedures because this gingiva has. Can you guys see the CJ here? No, right? You are supposed to check for the CJ by placing a probe inside the sulcus. Where you feel the CJ, there you can just mark it. By using sharp probe, you are supposed to prick here so that we get a bleeding point there. Or else by using pocket marker also you can do that. Then you are supposed to cut that. Can you guys see the zenith here? Distally they have given. Here this is in the middle. Here also canine also distally. How it is looking in that picture? If it is like this, it is not pleasing, right? Aesthetically. So when you are doing any gingivectomy procedure for aesthetic purpose, you are supposed to check for that. Here what they have done? Fracture cases will come. Actually in such cases you will plan for post also sometimes. And sometimes fracture line may be extending inside the gum metal. That time you are supposed to reflect the flap. Okay. From there, like you are supposed to find out the margin of the fracture line. From there you are supposed to restore it. No, thank you. What are the different pigments we come across in our body? Melanin, hemoglobin, bilirubin, iron, metallic pigments also. Okay. Either it may be physiological or pathological. Right? So when we plan for depigmentation, it's purely aesthetic. Okay. So what are the different types of gingival biotype? Thick and thin. What is thin? If the gingival thickness is less than 1.5 mm, then it is considered as thin. If it is more than 1.5, it is considered as thick. What are the different categories of pigments? Grades. In grade 1, like we can see very mild spots. Okay. If spots are little bit more continuous, then it is grade 2. If it is fully everything, everywhere it is there, it is grade 3. So when you can plan. So when the patient wants only for aesthetic purpose, is it like permanent treatment? No. Why is it so? Melanin pigments will come back. How it will come back? Sorry? What are the layers of epithelium? Basal, granular, okay, so these melanocytes will be present in the basal layer. They'll keep producing the melanocytes, melanin pigments. Okay, so what you have done, like only from canine to canine, you might have done other areas. Melanocytes will be present. Then that will migrate to the surgically treated area, and then again they'll start producing the melanin pigmentation. And you won't be able to remove all the melanocytes from the basal layer, right? Only upper layer will be scraped out. So that's the reason it is like again recurrence will be there. But you can't say when it is going to recur. For one patient it may recur within a 6 months, for one patient it may take one year also. That's why when you are planning for this, you are supposed to inform the patient it is not a permanent treatment. Only for the aesthetic purpose it can be done. So when you can do criteria for case selection. Then there is a disparity between skin and gingival color. That time you can plan and you are supposed to do it only in a healthy gingiva. Okay? If it is gingiva is edematous or soft and all, if you do, okay, it's not good. It's contraindicated in inflamed gingiva. That's why if you are planning any depigmentation procedure, you are supposed to do scaling thoroughly, wait for 1 week to 10 days, then go ahead with gingival procedure once the inflammation has come down. And also adequate thickness of the tissues. Gingival biotype should be thick enough. Then only better to go ahead with depigmentation procedure. What are the different techniques? What we can do is by using chemical, cryosurgery or electrosurgery, lasers, gingival abrasion, I was telling you for gingivoplasty. By same technique only you can do depigmentation. And split thickness epithelial excision. That is also same thing. For gingivoplasty also we do that. Okay? And any of the combination, either excision or abrasion or by using any chemicals or cryosurgery. But what we commonly use is lasers and scalpel method. Here, by using scalpel. How will you do? Just by taking a 50 number blade, you are just scraping out the upper epithelial layer. That's it. Just scrape out, then wipe with the cotton, see any pigment is present, then just scrape out. That's the thing, you are supposed to know the layers of the epithelia. Okay? So, if you feel that you are in the basic layer, then better to stop there. Okay? After that, you are supposed to give periopath. Very good procedure until unless you are supposed to like diagnose between thick gingiva and thin gingiva. If you go on like thicker biotype, then you will get a good result. Lasers actually it's easy to do, but only thing is you won't be able to make out between the pigments and the char tissue. You keep wiping, still the char tissue will be little bit blackish. You won't be able to exactly make out the difference between pigments and that. If you do by scalpel, neatly you can feel that. Within 3 days you can see fully pink gingiva. Because after 3rd day again the epithelium starts forming, no? So gingiva will be very red pinkish. After that, so instructions also should be given like avoid hot and spicy food. Can you see here? Two academic doctors got it done for their waiting here. 2 batches, previous batches. So how will you do by lasers? By seeing the gingival biotype, you are supposed to keep the watt. If it is thick biotype, then you can go ahead with higher settings. If you feel it is thin biotype, better to start with 1 watt. Okay? But laser machines, they'll start with some 3.5 or 4 watt, but better not to go ahead with that. Okay? If you keep like too much like high watt means you may end up with char in the tissue. Any doubts in minor surgical procedure? छोड़ दो टी ब्रेक के लिए छोड़ दिया